friends! I'm here doing my Ashland book haul because just today my UPS package came in because I did bring a handful of books home in my carry-on, but we ran out of space and I have this huge box. Now, some of the things in this box are souvenirs, to be fair, but we're gonna dig in. I can't wait to bust this open. Let's get into what I hauled at the Ashland Cozy Mystery Festival, and if you missed my vlog where I took you guys along with me to this amazing mystery festival, I'll link it above. Okay, let's start. Angela M. Sanders. I met her at the Lovejoy's tea event with her and Jennifer J. Chow, and they were both so kind. In fact, I have a book from Jennifer J. Chow here. So I got the second one in her LA Night Market series and she signed it for me. And she also stamped, which I thought was really unique and very cool. She stamped her Chinese name in here as well, which I thought was a really nice aspect. I'd never seen an author do something like that before. I thought that was so cool. So anyways, this is a series that centers around two cousins, and in the first book they're kind of at odds. One of them is kind of like a social media influencer, one of them is a very introverted bookish person, but I think the introvert bookish person, her father kind of gets them to open this bubble tea food cart together at the LA Night Market in the first book, and in this one they're working together again. So Yale and Celine are their names, and they are having a really thriving food cart business. They're having a really good time with it. They're gathered with some of the other food cart owners and business owners in the area for a hot pot dinner night until one of them keels over, and the owner of the restaurant, who is a family friend of theirs, is kind of the primary suspect, so they get involved in the case. I just love the camaraderie between these two. And the food descriptions are delightful, and Jennifer J. Chow's writing just sucks me in every time. I love her writing. Then Angela M. Sanders, I picked up Witch Upon a Star. So I have read the first book in the series, and I think the first few are on Audible on audio included with the membership, so I'm listening to them there. So I picked one up that was a couple more into the series, and that's Witch Upon a Star, When You Wish Upon a Corpse, a Witch Way librarian mystery. How cute is this cover? And I think this is book 4. It's book 4. So this takes place in Oregon, which was perfect. And our main character is Josie, and she has these witchy abilities. She can listen to and she can perfectly pick out the perfect book for you that you didn't even know you needed, and she can kind of talk to the books. It's very interesting. I'm just learning about it in the first book, but in this one, her sister, who as far as I know doesn't have witchy abilities, comes to visit her because she wants to go to this convention for life coaching and to become a life coach. But while there, a dead body is found. Josie gets involved, but she's got to keep hiding her witchy powers from her sister. I love it. There's also a very cute cat. I'm really excited to learn more about the magic in this series. This is one of my favorite supernatural series that I've read so far, and I'm just loving it. Tamara Berry's Murder Off the Books. This is the By the Books mystery series. It is book 3 and the most recent release in the series, from what I understand, and I love this series. Our main character is Tess, and she's a thriller writer and also a mother to a very quirky, fun, sassy teenager, a young teenager. I think she's 13 or 14. I love their relationship. They are hilarious together. Tamara Berry has a very humorous writing style that is just so funny. If you enjoyed Finley Donovan, I think you would like this. This is a true cozy mystery. Finley Donovan pushes that. It is not a true cozy mystery in my opinion, even though it has cozy vibes, but this is a really good option if you enjoyed Finley Donovan and you're looking for something a little cozier. This one makes me laugh out loud. I love it. It's set in a small town. The mother and daughter live in a small cabin. They're opening a bookshop in this. There's a really interesting family history because it's her grandfather's cabin, and I am just so excited to keep reading this series. I love how funny it is. It's just so witty and fresh. I love the mother-daughter relationship, and Tess is a thriller writer, and the sheriff in town is the embodiment of her main character, except his personality is completely different, and it's just really funny, the comparison she makes and how she thinks she knows things. The teen daughter is very morbid curiosity. She would make she just has the most interest in forensics and stuff like that, and it's very morbid at times, and it's very interesting, and I'm just so excited for this. So it's a great bookish pick because the main character is a writer. There's a bookstore opening. One of her friends has a library, what do I say? A van or a car, a mobile library. There you go. And I love that. And there's just so many fun things with this, and she always surprises me with the endings. I got an arc from Tamara Berry as well. This is called Murder Runs in the Family. This is a new I believe it's a series, but this is a new cozy mystery series. Look at this cover. So our main character is Amber. She's a former private investigator in training, but she flees in the middle of the night and she goes somewhere to her grandmother's, who she doesn't know very well, in Arizona, and she sneaks into, I think it's like a retirement community, because she can't afford to live there, and I don't think she qualifies to live there based on her age. She doesn't know much about her grandmother at all, but the night she arrives, someone is found dead, and her grandmother is a murder suspect. And she's just met her grandmother, so she doesn't know her well enough. And the man's tortoise is missing. Surprise, pet tortoise. Someone find the pet tortoise. Okay? But I am so fascinated with this. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm so curious. I think this is gonna be really fun because Tamara Berry she was just as funny in real life. She was just a very funny writer and I love her, so I'm so excited to read that. Okay. So I have been working through the series. I'm not quite caught up at this, but I couldn't resist buying this at a used bookshop. It's called The Spook in the Stacks by Eva Gates. This is a Lighthouse Library mystery, and it's based on Sleepy Hollow. I love Sleepy Hollow so much. So I'm really excited. The cat is so cute. So our main character is Lucy, and she works at this lighthouse library. It's a very cozy place. I would love to visit somewhere like that. And this very wealthy businessman named Jay is thinking about like donating these North Carolina papers that are very valuable and of interest to a lot of libraries, and they're all kind of competing for him to donate them to their establishment when he is murdered, and Lucy and her fellow librarians have to solve it. There is a cute cat in this. There's also some possible ghostly sightings, like a haunted horseman that people are seeing, and Lucy doesn't know if she's losing it or what is going on. I am so excited. I'm really hoping, I really want to read this right now because it's Halloween. So many books, so little time right now. By Ellen Byron, I bought Bayou Book Thief, a vintage cookbook mystery series. This is one that came out a few years ago. It's book 1 in the series, and I have been dying to read this for a very long time, and I just kept not getting around to it because so many books. So I bought it, I had it signed, and Ellen Byron was so sweet, and in person we talked a lot about our Italian heritage together, and it was so fun. And in this one we have our main character Vicky, who is a young widow after her husband does this really bad stunt for social media and it goes wrong, and she works at this museum now where she's opening like a vintage cookbook store, which I think is such an amazing premise. I don't know much about vintage cookbooks, but I'm really looking forward to learning more about them. And unfortunately, she opens this trunk that's like donated, and there is the body of one of the employees at the museum there, and she gets involved in the case. I can't wait for this. I'm so excited. This will actually be my first Ellen Byron. I've been meaning to read her books forever. Here it is. This is it. Another one I picked up at a used bookstore. I've never heard of this before. It's an accessories mystery. And it's called Died with a Bow by Grace Carroll. She would be caught dead in that. And I believe this is book 1 in the series, but I thought this was such a fun premise. This takes place in April in San Francisco. So our main character is Rita, and she works in a upscale boutique in San Francisco selling accessories and clothing, and they're invited to this like auction charity event, and some things aren't going great in her life. Her love life is pretty lackluster. Her boss has hired this new sales girl, Vienna, who's very stylish and fast talking and charming, and she really shows everyone up with what she shows up to in the show. But the next day, Rita finds her in the same outfit, dead on the sales floor, and Rita's fingerprints are everywhere. So she's got to clear her name and figure out what happened to Vienna. If you've heard of this series, let me know. But I do love a good like kind of fashion cozy here and there, so I think this would be a really fun one. Then I picked up Haunted to Death by Frank Anthony Polito, which is another Halloween cozy mystery. I need to read like every Halloween cozy mystery right now, and this is a domestic partners in crime mystery series. He was such a kind person. It was so nice to chat with him. He also described this. It takes place at this Winchester home, which is like a 1913 manor. The two main characters, PJ and JP Broadway, so they're an author like writer combo and a actor, and they're also renovation experts, and they're on this TV show. And basically they get involved with this renovation on this 1913 house, which is called the Woods Hall, and it's a manor home in Detroit, which is where they live. The Cozy Mystery centers around like a specific part of Detroit, so it still has that cozy community feeling, which is nice. But in this one, they're renovating this house, and it comes with a lot of interesting bits and pieces. It sounds like there might be secret passages in this from what he was saying, because he said there was like some Scooby-Doo-esque features, and I'm like, sold me right there. There's also a possible ghost haunting the place, because many years ago a famous like socialite was she fell to her death, or was she pushed off the balcony of the home? So the domestic partners are working on restoring the home to its glory, and they're working with Fiona, who is the daughter of the woman who passed away many years ago, and they're kind of figuring out what happened to Fiona's mother. I love a cold case, like turned present case, where they're figuring it out many years later. I think the home renovation concept is super interesting, and from what I remember from the first book, there was a very cute puppy, and I'm hoping for more scenes with the dog. Also, this cover, I love the style, the artwork style for this series. I think it is so beautiful. I also picked up Flat White Fatality by Emmeline Duncan. I've read the first 2 books in her Ground Rules mystery series. This is book 3. This takes place in Portland, Oregon. So again, another big city, but it takes place primarily in, what do I want to say, like it's like a food vendor, food truck area. So there's a bunch of different food trucks in the same place, and the main character, Sage, runs a coffee one with her best friend. And Sage has a really interesting backstory that I won't get into for spoilers for the first book, but I found it to be super interesting, and it gives her an interesting outlook on certain crimes and observational skills, which I really like. But in this one, her boyfriend Bax, who works at this like gaming company, invites her to some kind of team building event, and one of the programmers ends up dead, and Sage and Bax are suspects in the crime, so she's working to solve it. I love this. I don't even drink coffee, but it's so cozy and heartwarming, and I just love the community that's built, and there is some beautiful cat and dog moments as well, and I'm really excited to continue the series. One that I picked up on a whim from Bloomberry Books, this one is not actually a mystery, but it is cozy fiction. It's called The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Savinsky. And this just looks so cozy and heartwarming, and I've been really loving Freya Sampson, and if you have more recommendations from Freya Sampson or authors like her, I would love to know, because those books just made, like, The Last Chance Library broke me in so many ways, but oh, loved it. But this kind of gave me similar vibes, and I'm hoping for a similar kind of effect. So this one involves triplets, and they have recently lost their parents. All 3 sisters run this Crescent Moon tea room together. They're very involved in the community and the lives of their customers, and there's some witchy things happening where someone is kind of losing their powers. They get involved. One of the sisters' powers starts to develop faster than the others 2. One of the sisters starts to have her writing take off, and another one is enchanted by the song of the circus. So this just sounds like a really interesting, cozy, kind of witchy, supernatural, female-centric cozy? I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect with this, but the cover, it's beautiful, and it's embossed, so when you run your hand up and down it, it feels so nice. Yeah, this cover, I'm gonna say, really sold me. It's absolutely just beautiful. If you've read that, let me know, because I was not familiar with that until I saw it on the table and kind of picked it up, and I was like, ooh. Next I picked up a book from Kira Davis. This is Chaos Desire and a Kick blank cupcake. I don't like to curse, but this is a little bit of an edgy, darker cozy. When the author presented herself, she kind of described it as like the Golden Girls, but hers as like, if the Golden Girls were like cozy mysteries, hers is like the Blanche of the group, where it's more blunt and a little bit more off the cuff, a little edgier, and I thought that was really fun. I believe there is some cursing in this, and maybe a little bit more in the romance department, but I believe it is an amateur sleuth and that there's not like graphic violence, so it's cozy-esque. But this one involves like a lot of like socialite groups. Our main character is a mystery writer and dabbling amateur sleuth. She's got a fiery love affair with PI boyfriend Anatoly Darinsky, and I'm really excited. And in this one, she actually gets involved in a stalker case. So this one just sounds really interesting, a little bit maybe more like Finley Donovan, where it's like cozy-esque, a little bit more out there, but I'm really excited for this. It sounds fun. And Kira Davis was just the nicest person. She just had the most like relaxed, fun presence. I just loved her. I just loved her. So at the used bookstore in Medford, I found a couple books from the Antique Shop mystery series, which these are kind of hard to find. Some of the like Annie's Fiction or guidepost books, like these mystery series they come out with, are sometimes kind of hard to find, and they're really expensive to order online because they're kind of widely sought after, it seems. So I picked up Stranger in the Looking Glass and The Secret Letter, and I'm very excited for both of these. So this one takes place with Maggie Watson in the charming town of Somerset Harbor on the coast of Maine, and she inherits this carriage house antique shop, gets involved in a bunch of different mysteries with her friends. I believe a lot of these branch off into other mystery series within the same publisher. Like, I think Maggie's name came up in the Patchwork mystery series that I read from this series. or not from the series, from this publisher. It's a little confusing. I need like a family tree for the book series they have. Oh, it sounds like in this one someone confesses to a bank robbery and there's someone in the attic. Sounds pretty creepy. And then let's see what this one's about. So Strangers in the Looking Glass and The Secret Letter are the first two in the series, but look how many are listed. Wow. A lot of these mysteries seem to take place in the antique shop and Maggie finding clues or old letters or old photos that lead her down some kind of like historical mystery. So I'm not sure if these are like classic murder mysteries. I will update you, but they do sound like they have some really interesting family like history and like secrets coming out. So I'm really excited for that. Next, I picked up Polished Off, a Southern beauty shop mystery by Leela Dare. And I personally love the Nancy J. Cohen Bad Hair Day mystery series, which takes place in Florida with Marla, who is a hairdresser and eventually owns her own hair salon. So when I saw that this was like a beauty shop one, I thought this would be a really fun theme, especially maybe for like spring or summer. I feel like that just seems about right. And the cat in this, look how cute! The spilled nail polish. I love all the details with this. I'm not sure what book this is in the series. This is book 2 in the series. The first one is called Trust to Kill. So this takes place in Georgia. Our main character is Grace and she's a beautician in this beauty shop with other beauticians and hairdressers, and they're having a big beauty pageant in town, and all of these pageant mothers and the pageant queens are all like just rushing the place, and there's a lot of drama, and then everything gets worse when it's discovered that one person was having an affair with someone else's husband, one of them is murdered, and Grace and her beauticians are going to solve the mystery. I'm so excited for this. I want to know what the cat's name is because the cat is so cute. It also includes organic skincare recipes, which I think is pretty interesting, and the heroine is described as plucky, smart, and slightly damaged, which I'm curious about. The slightly damaged part, I want to know what the past history is with that. Guys, it is the next day. I ran out of a little bit of time in the window I was filming yesterday, so I have a few more books to go over with you. So I want to start by talking about Pamela Denke. So she writes the Court Reporter Mystery Series. I think she is a debut or like newer Cozy Mystery author because she was at the debut Cozy Mystery Author panel or like meet and greet with Courtney from Cortagonist, which was really fun. I got to meet both of them. They were both so lovely. And I picked up book 1 and the prequel in her series. So this is The Court Reporter Always Gets the Last Word. It is a Halloween one and it takes place in 1996. How cute! There's an alligator. I really like alligators and crocodiles, which I know is kind of an odd, not that I want to hang out with them, but I think they're very cool creatures. And then this one's called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. Look at the beautiful cat on the cover, and this takes place in 1973. Fun fact, she also purchased, when she retired in 2014, Nightingale's Inn, a bed and breakfast in Ashland, Oregon, which is really interesting. So she worked in San Francisco as a court reporter for many years, so a lot of the mishaps and things the character who's a court reporter goes through are based on her own experience. So I'm very excited to read these. They both take place in California. I like that they take place in the past because there's going to be not really the type of technology that we have now. Like, you know, if it's in the 70s, the 90s, I don't think the main character's gonna have like access to, you know, like the internet or anything like that. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of read. And I'm just really excited. So she gets involved, the main character Addie gets involved in different crimes and mysteries based on her court reporting. You know, she kind of maybe gets into depositions with people. It sounds like like in this one, there's a larceny is scamming Medi-Cal and getting away with it until Addie starts reporting his depositions. Follow her as she discovers hidden clues, escapes a fiery car crash, unmasks the Lone Ranger, and faces down a pair of alligators. I'm so curious as to where the alligators come in. I'm like, but you know what? I'm so cool. And these are just, I love the spines. I think these are really pretty. So the lady, Pamela, was so nice to chat with. If she happens to see this, I don't think she will, but if she happens to, hi, I had the greatest time chatting with you. You were so kind. And I'm really excited to read these. A book I found used that is so perfect for this time of year, and I wish I could read it before Halloween. It's not gonna happen probably, but I had to pick it up. It's a Beaufort and Company mystery. It's called Defending Angels, Spooky Southern Charm by Mary Stanton. Look at this cover. How beautiful. So this one sounds like it's a supernatural cozy because our main character Brianna, or Bree, basically is taking over her uncle's like lawyer practice, and his practice is in the middle of a cemetery, and his practice seems like his clients are more on the ghostly side, if you catch my drift. And interestingly enough, the cemetery, the graveyard, is a murderer's graveyard, so it sounds like the people buried there are murderers, I'm thinking. That's, unless there's another meaning to an all murderers cemetery, that's what I'm guessing. But her first case comes from this local businessman who somehow calls Bree hours after his death. So I don't know. So she's got like a supernatural clientele and she's a lawyer, a sleuth. I am so intrigued. I've never heard of this series. Let me know if you have, but I thought this sounded fascinating. All right, and then I picked up 2 more books. I have a thriller and a nonfiction. The thriller I picked up used is called Beautiful Bad by Annie Ward. This is the cover. It really caught my attention. So our main characters are Maddie and Ian, and they met at this party overseas through a close friend of theirs, Joe, and they eventually get married. They have this very idyllic life. They have kids, you know, all of that. But Maddie gets into this accident and she's badly scarred. So she goes to this writing like therapy session group and she starts to reveal her fears about Ian. And like also suspicions around the person who introduced them, which is really interesting. And this goes over 16 years of love and leads into some like desperate 911 call. And I'm just so incredibly intrigued. I don't think I've read anything by this author. She's not super familiar to me, but the cover and premise sounded very interesting. The nonfiction I picked up at one of Ashland's little independent stores, and it was kind of like this wellness store. Like it didn't really sell a lot of books, but they were mostly like wellness, nonfiction, spirituality kind of books, and they had like journals and stuff like that. And this one's called The Power of Daily Practice by Eric Maisel, PhD, and it's called, or the blurb is How Creative and Performing Artists and Everyone Else Can Finally Meet Their Goals. So the author is this creativity coach. He's a creativity coach, a therapist, and acclaimed author, and he works with a wide variety of people, including best-selling writers, creatives, even recovering addicts, visual artists, actors, rehabilitation patients, and he kind of shows you a way to approach a daily practice and how to really get good at committing to whatever it is you're trying to do. Whether that's a creative hobby or something related to your work, whatever it is that you really want to be showing up for on a daily basis to really go after as your goal, this is a book that's supposed to explore that. And I thought that was just an interesting topic. As someone who's a freelance writer who does YouTube, you know, I got a lot of creative pursuits. I also love coloring, baking. I love all these things, and it's sometimes really hard to commit to everything like daily. So I'm interested in how he suggests maybe going about multiple passions, if there's advice on that. I'm hoping, but I'm really interested in this, so I thought that one just sounded interesting. And that is our book haul, which I had to ship back. You guys saw the box. I had to ship back quite a bit because we just had carry-ons and there wasn't a lot of room. So next year I'm going to be more prepared. That's the plan. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for the warm reception on the Ashland mystery vlog where I took you guys along. If you didn't watch it, I'll link it above, but I basically did a vlog when I was at the Cozy Mystery Festival in Ashland, Oregon, and it was so much fun. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed watching it, and it was the greatest time. I'm really looking forward to hopefully going again next year because I had the most wonderful time. The people there that I met, the authors, everyone, it was just so wonderful. So I am so excited, and stay tuned. I will have an Ashland Little Free Library tour coming up in the future. That'll probably be a little bit later because I have to get like my reading wrap up and new Cozy Mystery release videos and stuff up before then to kind of keep the timeline for uploads okay, but that will be coming up within November. So stay tuned for that. Hit subscribe if you're not already. I do post new mystery content every week on my channel, so if you like bookish, cozy, mystery stuff, you'll probably like what I post. So stick around and let me know, what have you recently picked up, whether that's from a bookstore, your library. I would love to hear. Bye guys!